I apologize. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for your patience. I am so grateful. Google would not connect with us, and we had a few problems trying to connect with Google. So I'm so sorry, and thank you so much for waiting. I'm so happy you're here. Um, it's just wonderful to have people come on the call and give me the time and be here with me to hear this. Um, I have to take a deep breath. Sorry. So welcome to Stop Blackballing Your Ideal Clients. 5 steps to find, mesmerize, and sign more clients in 30 days. And I'm so glad you're here, honestly. Actually, this is one of the most important calls I think I've ever done. And there's a reason for that. And it's, well, because you're doing everything and spending all kinds of money to attract your ideal clients. What you're actually doing in many cases is repelling them. And in the next 65 minutes, I'm going to show you how you're doing that and how you can stop. Because if you've ever been blackballed from a group or a movement, you're really made not to feel welcome. And you're not doing this intentionally. But so much of what you're putting out there to your ideal clients is the same thing. Because I firmly believe that once you stop doing this, once you start being conscious of how to turn it around, that they will show up on your doorstep. And I've experienced this myself. My clients have experienced this. And one of the most powerful things is that the exact same thing, it's like a revolving door, the exact same thing you're doing to blackball your clients is what will bring them around, which I think is pretty cool. So in the next 65 minutes, you will discover 3 ways you repel your ideal clients: energetically, verbally, and physically, and how to stop it right now. 5 keys rather, to spellbind your perfect prospect, online or off, in 6 seconds or less, and I have timed this several times for people. The number 1 phrase that will get you all the attention you need anywhere. Zen mode. I love this. The secret to arousing irresistible desire every time. And how to find fabulous clients in the grocery line. This is my favorite. So one of the things I might say about turning off your clients, and one of the reasons I've been able to discover this, is because I didn't have traditional training as a coach. I came from PR and entertainment and consulting. So when I came into this industry from a world where people really didn't do that. You know, in PR, if my clients didn't give Oprah or CNN or the Today Show the pitch they wanted, they were dead in the water, and they had 92 seconds. And I did that for 15 years. I was used to that. I was used to giving people exactly what they wanted to hear. And once I started working with coaches and solopreneurs, I was really shocked to see how people sabotage their own success without knowing it. Because I worked with and I worked with a lot of top people. I worked with heads of hospitals and a lot of CEOs, the mayor of LA, and these are full speed ahead people, and you cannot afford to sabotage their message. So for years and years, I worked in a field where if you did this to yourself, you wouldn't survive. And now what I want to bring to you is this outlook that I've had with working with this fabulous 15 years of media training, with working with the mayors and CEOs and hospitals and CEOs and managers in Europe and America, all across the country, so you can see how your own brilliance is working for you and how to draw your ideal clients to you. So by now you may have your pens out and your keyboards out. I hope so, because whatever you're taking notes with, I want you to take plenty of notes and be engaged. So, because this is good. So let's move on to point number 1. Here's a crazy secret. Your clients are itching to invest with you. The reason that they don't appear more often is because, 1, they don't hear a high value offer, and they don't see you as the only expert they want. Now, why is that? You're blackballing your high-end clients energetically, emotionally, and physically. You're blackballing your high-end clients energetically when you lump them into a crowd. You know, For example, have you ever gone out? What do I mean by energetically? Because I want us all to be on the same page here. Have you ever gone out for coffee with a friend, and you've been really distraught about something? You just had to vent. I mean, your mother just drove you up a wall, and they listened to you. And as soon as you stopped talking, they said, oh, I have to tell you about this amazing thing that happened to me today. And in that moment, did you feel like you wanted to drop your best friend off the back of a Mack truck? Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening to the target market. You're trying to give them something without first getting what they want to hear and communicating it in their language, not yours. So your clients think you don't get them because of the way you talk and communicate. They think you're lumping them into the crowd. For example, and this is subtle, but it's really, it's an unconscious perception, and it's very, very broad. For example, one of my clients used to say, I work with women entrepreneurs to help them relax and get a rich lifestyle. Now, this is fine. They were great at it. You know, who doesn't? But the problem is, who doesn't? This is a very general statement. You've heard it 100 times before. Your high-end clients won't bite. They don't want to be lumped into this crowd. This is a crowd of women entrepreneurs who want to relax. See what I'm saying? Do you see how subtle that is? And the reason that it's subtle, you may attract a number of people with this, but you're not going to attract the ones you really want. We're really talking about attracting high-end clients because this feels insulting. And now look at the difference here. When I first met Karen, she was $2 million in the red. She hadn't slept in 3 months. 6 months later, she was $7 million in the black and sleeping like a baby. She also met and married her soulmate. Now, same guy, did the same thing. Would you like to have that happen to you? Can you picture it? Is it specific? Do you feel lumped into a crowd when you hear it? No. So the number one reason, the number one complaint of your clients is that they don't feel listened to, which is really funny because we're all listening to them all the time. And the interesting thing is that feeling listened to is so close to the act of feeling loved that most people can't tell the difference. They don't feel listened to because you're not talking their language, so they think you don't care. You're just someone who doesn't get it and doesn't care. So energetically, you're pushing them away. So get this, they will not want what you have until they know that you care. So don't lump them in. And the way you don't lump them in is be specific. And we'll go into more of how to be specific on this call. Now, this is a story of Jeff. Jeff, this is great. I love this story. Jeff was this brilliant business owner who started a second multi-million-dollar website, but his opt-ins were way down. And when we took a look at this 75-page report he was offering, it was all very logical and very coherent language, and it completely fascinated Jeff. He had a brain like a computer, but nobody touched it. So we changed the whole thing, cut it in half, put in stories, put in street language, made it shorter. All of a sudden, his visitors knew he cared. He was talking their language. His opt-ins increased by 86% in 10 weeks. So see the difference? See the difference? You're blackballing your clients verbally because you're talking, but they can't hear what you're saying, which means you're talking about what you do first instead of leading with the impact it has on them. And next time you start talking about what you do, I want you to imagine a little ticking clock, okay? Okay, it's more like a time bomb. And it used to be that this clock had 10 seconds on it. Now it's got about 3. And if that clock ticks down to 0 and you haven't shifted from what you do to what you do for them, you're gone. You're history. They may smile, they may nod. You know, there's a difference between people being civil and people being interested. And the reason you don't have have more clients, the clients that you want, is because you're doing the first. You're talking about what you do first instead of leading with the impact that it has on them. And remember at the beginning when I told you that what you were doing to blackball clients, that the amazing power of the solution is just the mirror side of that? So instead of focusing on what you do, I want you to focus on the impact you have on them. And I really mean the impact that you yourself personally have. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And also the impact that you have verbally with your results. so that they are hit first by you and second by what you can do for them. And just that little slip will turn people from being nice to being interested, because they want to hear your results. They want to hear those down and dirty results you get that blow people away. And to do this, you need to grab the attention of the old brain. You've heard me talk about this a lot. It's the unconscious. And it's like a kid, really. I mean, it pays attention when it's interested, actually when it's mesmerized. And why do you need this attention? This is the only brain, this is the only part of your brain that will trigger a decision to work with you. In fact, it triggers every decision you make. A decision to have chocolate rather than vanilla ice cream, to buy your apartment, to marry your husband, to get a dog. It triggers every single decision you make. This is the thing you want on your side, okay? And the thing is, it's got the attention span of a gnat. So that's what this whole, that's what we're dedicated to doing today, to grab that attention and keep it focused on you. Because once it gets focused on you, you've hit home. You've hit a home run. You're in. And let me show you. For example, this is one of my clients was, this is a before and after, and he was saying, we show corporate leaders how to use 3 distinct kinds of communication to go from one of a herd to a trusted leader in their field. Now, do you feel lumped in? Corporate leaders, one of a herd. I mean, and also there's a lot of highfalutin language in there. Anyway, what he did was switch it to one of our clients said it would take 12 million in 10 years. We did it in 18 months for 1 million, taking a medium-sized mineral company to global leadership in their field. Now, the reason I put those 3.58 seconds in there, that's really important. In the first 3.58 seconds, his prospects began to hear, one of our clients said it would take 12 million in 10 years. We did it in 18 months. That's 3.58 seconds. That's a grabber. He's got their attention. In fact, this worked really, really well for him. He's got their attention. And the attention will stay there as long as he can keep it, as long as he knows how to keep it. But that's how fast. That's the amount of time you have. See that 3.58 seconds? That's it. That's the time you have to grab the unconscious and keep it. And so the whole thing took 8 seconds. Now, 8 seconds is kind of pathetic, but that is our American attention span today. And that's what we've got to work with. So let's do it. So why do you give your down and dirty results in the first 3 seconds? Because you want a string of little yeses. You know, they say, yeah, in their minds. Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. What? Yeah, give me more. That's interesting. Yeah. And they begin to lean into you without realizing it, because what you're saying is so provocative. So let's move on. You're blackballing your clients physically because in person you don't look like you can deliver. And I'm not going to get too into this. This is not my field, but I was talking to Sharon Saylor about it at an event. I'll tell you about that. But we do blackball our clients physically when we meet them in person. We can. And when I say blackball, I mean we turn them off, because you don't look congruent. You don't look like you can deliver. You look like you're trying. You don't look like your brand. You don't look like whatever you say you are. Does that make sense? Your clothes, your hair, your expression, your body language, your voice, something about it doesn't click. And there are 2 other components to this. One is your appearance has to be congruent with your message. You just have to be. I mean, you could be dressed in geek grunge. I don't care. But if you have the confident voice and the authority and the youth that goes with it, you'll get attention and you'll get trust. So it's unique to everybody, and it's a very, very tricky subject to bring up with people, because they don't really like to be told you're not congruent, you're not dressed, you're not dressed the way you look, you don't dress like a consultant. But it's something that people tippy-toe around, and I'd like to bring it up, because there are physical barriers. There are physical barriers, offline barriers, when you meet someone in person that are very off-putting. Like a wooden expression, too much smiling. Even a doctor told me this, too much Botox, because scientifically, research shows that your face will not carry the cues that humans look for in response. When there is no facial cue, your audience doesn't feel listened to. So the person thinks you don't. And like that kind of that kind of expression. People wear that expression, and they're not aware of it. And you project. You're projecting rather than engaging. You're projecting. You may even, that woman may be really listening, but you can't tell. And the thing that was interesting was I was sitting next to Sharon Saylor, who wrote the book on body language. She's a national expert on it. And I watched her talk to another consultant at a conference, and the consultant leaned over and said, could you give me a few of your, could you give me a few comments? I'd love to hear what you think of my presentation. And Sharon said, she just said one thing. She said, when I speak to you, you don't move your head or nod or smile or murmur or do anything. And she said, so I can't tell that you're taking it in. She said, so just every few seconds, change your head, nod, smile, do something. Let me know you're taking it in. Now, this other woman had no idea that she was presenting this stony face. She was actually listening very intently. She was just kind of very logical and focused, and she just focused and zeroed right in, and you couldn't tell what she was thinking. So you need to respond and not just project. You've got to respond, because what I want you to imagine is like when you're engaging with a prospect, like when you're in a tennis match. It's like a tennis match. Like, how long does that ball stay in one part of the court, right? Not very long. That's what makes it engaging. Because what's happening is two things. If you're holding a press conference with someone, I mean, if you're just spouting off instead of a dialogue, or if you're not responding to what they're saying, if you're not giving verbal and physical cues, and research talks about this all the time, so that you get them, you want more, you understand them, you're pushing them away. And it's just like a tennis match. When the ball stays on that one side of the court too long, you're done. When you're not responding to the person on the other side of that net, you're done. And online, there's a whole, we could talk about this, this is a whole other webinar, but online, your homepage is not about them. So the idea is here, this is the slide says, give nonverbal feedback so that people feel listened to. But online, your homepage is not about them. They should feel at home in 1.8 seconds, and it is a feeling. It is not an intellectual idea. It's a feeling. So there is, we have a website right here. Now, do you feel at home in this website? I hope this is not anybody's business, but we just picked one out of the blue. Do you feel at home? Is that site all about you? Because it should be. Do you see how much they could do with this? So anyway, these are just a few of the ways that you're physically blackballing your clients. And you hit a home run when you capture your prospect's old brain, heart brain, and gut brain. And when you capture your prospect's old brain, you become a part of their survival need. That's why that's so crucial. You know, you speak to whether it's an entrepreneur who needs to make money, or a person with chronic illness who wants to get well, or somebody who's looking for more meaning in their lives. It doesn't matter. You need to speak to the urgent, immediate longing of your market. And if you're not talking to someone in your market, that's fine. But if you've been specific, if you've been so spot on, they'll think, gosh, you know, my cousin needs you, my friend needs you. Or they remember you because you're so unlike anyone they've met. When you capture your prospect's heart brain, they feel like you care. And when they feel like you care, you've just become part of their tribe. And how do you do this? You do this by the way you respond, by the way you listen, by the way you receive their information. You receive their information like it was a gift of gold from heaven, physically and verbally. Online, you care because you give a lot online. You're welcoming. Everything you do online welcomes them, and it's all about them. Don't try to care. It shows. And they think, for example, make it all about them. When you're doing a video, your videos are fun because it's all about them. You intrigue them, you keep them a little curious, so they anticipate more, which floods their brain with dopamine, which makes them feel really good about you. This is actually one secret of great advertising and great marketing. But these are a few ways when you capture your prospect's heart brain, they feel like you care. And we do really have 3 brains. And when you capture your prospect's gut brain, they feel it as an instinctive response. The gut brain's very, very connected to the unconscious. And the instinctive response is, yeah, they can trust you. Yeah, you can give them what they want. And that's that feel. It's a, yeah, this feels right. I'm going to do it. Research shows that we see danger with our eyes, we hear it with our ears, and we detect it in our gut. And in the same way, your prospect sees you as the only one they want. They hear it with their ears and they detect it in their gut. You feel right to them. The number one way to get that gut reaction is to talk directly to the unconscious, the old brain, the 450,000-year-old ancient brain in your prospects. You have something that is so good that they want it without thinking. That triggers the gut brain. For example, this is a story from one of my clients, and he was saying, you know, I help people with their marketing and business plans. And I asked him for one of the stories. And the story was, well, a new vet came to me. She was really hurting for business. And I built her a list within a 5-mile radius of all households of her office. And these households all had a cat. They all subscribed to cat magazines, and they all had an income of $35,000 or over. And she found 1,000 households in 5 miles of her office. And when I stretched it out to 20 miles, she had 25,000 households. Can you imagine that? 25,000 households with a cat in 20 miles of her office. So her business took off with a gallop. She exceeded her revenue goals by 20% in 2 years in a row. And so at the end of this, he said, you could say I do marketing and business development, but what I really do is find people money. And that's the truth. So let's go on to five keys to spellbind a prospect. Now, when someone goes head over heels for what you do, they're not in control and they don't care. They'll come after you for what they want. That's when they sell themselves on you. And here's how to make it happen. So the number one key to spellbind a prospect, show them what's in it for them in 3 to 5 seconds. We've talked about this before, and it's so important. It's just so important. If you don't do this, you lose people for good. You're gone. You're gone online in 1.8, and you're gone in person in 3.5. And so you talk about what's in it for them in 3.5 seconds so they can trigger a decision to keep listening. And gradually, they slide off their, I'm not going to do anything, power base, and they move towards you. And this is your goal, to get them to move emotionally and mentally towards you. And so if you're talking to a prospect and they say, well, what do you do? You know, now how on earth do you say something in 3 to 5 seconds? Well, we just proved it. You don't actually have to respond to the actual question. So here's the key to doing that. Because as soon as you respond to their question, well, I'm in the insurance industry. Well, I'm a vet. I'm a vet. I specialize in cats. You're done. Because you're talking about you. Get it? And you're done. A lot of us are feeling obligated. You feel obligated to answer the question. Well, I'm a healer and I'm also an artist, and you know, I have a large healing practice, you know, centered here in Montreal. That's about you. And that's a lot longer than 3 seconds. So, you know, a lot of us feel obligated to answer the question, but you don't have to. In fact, it's better that you don't, because the what do you do police are not going to come and arrest you. So like my client Jim, I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm in the financial service industry. We specialize in freeing up capital for our clients. Okay, now that's all about Jim. You don't know what he means, really, and you don't really care. It's all about him. So once again, like we said, the key to turning this around, don't tell them what you do, tell them what you do for them and do it immediately. And believe me, they will give you the response you've been waiting for. So this is what he said instead. Did you know most people have to work till July before they start making money? After our clients work with us, they start making money in 60 days. When you use this key, your prospect has made the first step towards you, which is to keep listening. And you might think this is a small thing, but let me tell you, if you don't get that attention in 3 to 5 seconds, the unconscious, the old brain, will power down and go on hibernate, and you'll be talking to someone, and the lights will be on, but nobody's home. So number 2, the key to spellbind a prospect, make it clear that you're going after high-end clients. Shoot high. Shoot high. What does that mean? Here's the secret. People who make a lot of money are in just as much pain as you are. That's true. They're in pain about different things. So instead of trying to get to 200,000, they say, oh my God, I got to 200,000 and I have no clue as to how to do that next year. They had a successful live event. I'm like, oh no, how do I do that again without ruining my life? So high-end people have high-end problems. What jet should I buy? Keeps them up at night. And what secret number 2 says is aim high. Aim at the level of the problems that the people you want to work with have. So funny that people don't do this. And this is critical because as soon as they hear their pain and their results that you're describing, they'll begin to move either towards you or away from you. And segmenting your market like that is fantastic. It's great. Because remember, you're specifically going after high-end clients right now. So you make sure your high-end target moves towards you by showing them the high-end results they want for themselves. For example, one of my clients is a web designer, and she said, we take chicken scratch on a piece of paper and turn it into a design that sells your idea. After we designed the site for one of our New York clients, he was able to raise $300,000 in 6 weeks. So actually, he was ecstatic with what she did. So to spellbind a high-end prospect, be extremely clear on their pain and on what they want. Their desires may not be the desires of your lower-end prospects at all. And we really don't make this clear. We're so busy trying to figure out how to explain what we do that we don't really think about what impact we want, what impact we're making on the person we're talking to. And the impact either is high-end or low-end or middle. It's your choice. So for example, I was talking to one guy who is a very successful consultant, and he said there were 2 different kinds of pain that he listened to. And he said, he would go after company owners, and he said he didn't want the company owners when he finally drilled down and said, well, what are you afraid of? And if a guy said, well, I don't want to go bankrupt, I don't want to have to close my doors, he didn't go after them. If a guy said, I really want my father to be proud of me, this is his business and I don't want to let him down, that's a high-end client. And those are the people he went after. So do you see two guys in the same industry, 2 completely different types of pain? So if you're going after high-end clients, choose a problem that is specific to them. If the pain you solve, is terrible financial struggle or impossible health problems or a lifetime of bad relationships, you're not going after high-end clients. You're not shooting high. You call your clients to you by the pain you call up in them. For high-end clients, make sure it's high-end pain. For example, I want to make my father proud. I don't want to lose the family business. I want to go from 100 to 200,000. Well, I make 250, but I haven't had a vacation in 6 years. These are high-end problems. I'm making $500,000, but I want to sell my company for 5. How do I do that? If anybody's ever dated a billionaire, they might have confessed to you at some point, I want my mother to be proud of me. Isn't that funny? I want my mother to be proud of me. If someone has chronic pain and they've been to numerous doctors, that means they've invested. If they've had bad relationships and they've been to 5 coaches who haven't worked, they've invested. So they are high-end clients. So spell out who you want by the pain you are describing. Okay? Slide number 3, the key to spellbind a prospect, use street talk. And I love this because street talk, what inspires people to work with you is not jargon, it's the language of desire. And I've talked about this a lot. So start speaking it. Start speaking the language of desire. Stop speaking the language of the annual report or your company manifesto that they told you to say, or all the benefits that you can do, or all the features of your product or your service. Start speaking the language of outcomes, impact, results. Street language is also really, really intimate. It's the talk that everybody uses in their own heads. This is crucial because your prospect starts to feel, oh, they know me. Oh, they're the only ones who get it. Oh my God. Street talk is really, really important. This is an example of street talk. One of my clients said, when I first met Louise, she was at the end of her rope. She lost her secretary job that had been her livelihood for over 10 years. She was miserable about becoming a temp. And in 90 days, one of her temp assignments became her new career. She's over the moon. I teach frightened out-of-work professionals the 7 skills they need right now to get hired and happy. That's a great, great introduction. But you see, end of a rope, miserable, 90 days, she's over the moon, frightened, out of work professionals. This is all street talk. It all goes right into the brain and the gut. And people think, oh, they get it. They get it. So that's why it's so important. It's intimate. It's intimate language. It's inside the other person's head language. So key number 4 to spellbind your prospect is to allow your prospect's emotions to bring them towards you. And I've talked about this before. We're going to go really into this. This is where you do this when you create a huge gap between where they are and where they want to be. And if you don't do this, they will not move. No matter how interested they are, no matter how fascinating you are, they will not move. This is so crucial. They will not move towards you without it, because they can't. They literally can't. You have to create a huge gap, and they have to cross it by themselves. That's when everything, the doors, everything opens for you. So what's a gap? Now, you know when you've had a really cranky day and you're in a pissy mood and all of a sudden you see an incredible deal on Italy for 10 days? You know, 5-star hotel plus airfare for $13.95, something you really crave, and all of a sudden you're in love. You're seduced. You're hanging over the canals in Venice, right? You daydream like crazy. Your bad mood is gone. A minute ago you didn't have the money. Now you're scheming about getting the funds together because this deal is so good. So what happened? There was a big gap there. You were in a rotten mood. You don't spend frivolous money on travel. You can't afford the time. And you saw that Italy picture or video, and you just leaped over the gap of your bad day of, I don't have the money to travel. I can't take the time. And you dove right into your hidden desire for 2 gorgeous days, 10 days in Europe, in Italy. And what? It was effortless, right? It was effortless. That's what a great gap does. Get it? That's what a great gap does. That's what we want everyone you talk to do. To feel the pain or the loss of what they don't have, and to want what you have so badly that they begin to wonder how they can get it before you finish talking. So how do you make that happen? You put the pain and the desire in 1 sentence or 2 at the most. You need to get them to feel. You've got to get them to feel desire, longing, anxiety, greed, lust, greed, curiosity, anything, as long as it's feeling about what you do, what you can do for them. And when you swing between pain and desire, you will destabilize your prospect, and they'll start to move forward, towards you, move forwards and moves towards you, energetically, emotionally, and physically. Now, what does destabilize mean? It means that when they meet you, they're not in a buying mood. They're not in a hello, let's buddy up mood. They're in a, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Oh, thank you. They're in a powerful position. They're in their comfort zone. They're stable. You need to knock them off their perch. You need to knock them off their comfort zone and think, oh, Italy, oh my God. When I see something that I want that badly, I am no longer on my power. I'm scheming about how can I get this happen? How can I make this happen? But I'm destabilized because I want something so badly that I'm moving inside emotionally. I'm moving. That's what you want your prospects to do, and you do it by the power of the results that you do for them, the power of the impact that you have on them. And the reason you need to destabilize them is, we talked about it, they're in the power position and they're not going to buy. They're not going to buy you. They buy you first, remember. They're not going to buy you. They're not going to buy your ideas. And they're certainly not going to buy your products or anything else. They're just browsing. We're all browsing. And destabilizing is a lot like falling in love. You were doing fine, right? Until you met that guy or that gal, or you saw that puppy for sale. And all of a sudden your world is upside down and you do anything to be near them, anything. This is just like what you want to have happen with your prospects. So again, if you do not destabilize them, they will not move towards you, and no sale or no engagement will happen. And you destabilize them by swinging back and forth between pain and desire, pain and desire, pain and desire. And a gap is perfect for this. So a great gap snaps your prospect out of, I'm doing fine, I'm okay. It makes them daydream, it makes them imagine, get a little anxious. How much better could it be? And it starts them moving towards you. So here is a great gap story. When I met Joe, he was at the end of his rope. He was terrified of sales. He had a mortgage he couldn't pay. 14 days later, after we worked together, he made $2,500 in an 18-minute phone conversation. I help entrepreneurs stop losing sleep and start making an extra $2,000 to $50,000 a month. See that gap? End of his rope, terrified. See the street language? End of his rope, terrified of sales, couldn't pay the mortgage. 2 weeks later, he made $2,500 in 18 minutes. That's a gap. That's a gap for somebody who's hanging on and really wants it. It's not a high-end client gap, but it's a great, great gap. And it shows, and do you think it has an impact on somebody? I help entrepreneurs stop losing sleep and start making an extra $2,000 to $50,000 a month. Yeah, it had a big impact for my client, huge. So that's the gap, and it's a phenomenal tool. And if you master it, it will bring you a lot of prospects, and it's very, very simply done by showing the before, the horrible before, and the marvelous after, and it's always the impact you have on them. So key number 5 to spellbind your prospects is show your prospect the money, love, or health. And this may sound crazy, but let them see the money, because they can't. They really can't. We all think they can. I make money from my prospect, but they can't see it. They can't see the love that you create. They can't see the health you create. Don't make them work for it. You know, the pot of gold is not what you think the pot of gold is. The pot of gold is what they think the pot of gold is. And this is an old story, but I still use it because it's a really good one. I was working with someone who said she created business systems for people, and she said, well, I create business systems for people, which wasn't getting her anywhere. And she said, well, I said, what's your best success story? And she said, well, I was working for a consultant, and he spent an hour a week looking for lost emails, and I got his time down to a minute a week. And I said, how much was his time worth? And she said, $250 an hour. And I said, so okay, in 2 hours, you save this man $12,500 a year. And she just gasped, and she just looked at me and went, got it. And that was it. She was off. She did that to everything, every service she did. Because nobody could see the money in what she did. Nobody. Do you see? In just the same way, people can't see the love. You know, I help people with relationships. I can't see the love in there. I can't feel it. You know, I help people get fit and healthy. I can't see the health. I can't feel it. You have your prospects have an inborn need to see the picture. Oh, there he is, spending an hour a week looking for lost emails. Your prospects have an inborn need to see the picture because we're visual. We have a 5,000-year-old processing visual bias, so take advantage of it. You give this to people. How do you make them see it? You give this to people by using numbers and telling 1 to 2 sentence stories full of word pictures so they can see the money, they can see the health, they can see the love. They really need to see it. So, for example, one of my clients said, when I met Karen, a 37-year-old single mom with, she was 45, with a 45-year-old single mom. She was miserable dating an older guy who wasn't at all what she wanted, but he was someone she felt safe with. 12 months later, Karen was married to the love of her life, and today they have an adorable 4-year-old girl who is a total joy. Now, can you see the love there? She was miserable dating an older guy who wasn't what she wanted, but she just felt, oh, well, I'm safe, I might as well stay here. 12 months later, she was married to the love of her life. And then my client added, 87% of my clients are either married or in a committed relationship within a year of working together. So can you see the love there? Can you see how the story tells the love? The 5-star advantage this gives you is that your prospects and your entire market instantly get it. They see the money, they see the love, they see the health, because they see faster than they think. We all do. We see faster than we think. And you don't want them in their thinking brain. You really don't. You want them seeing and feeling. So the number 1 phrase that will get you all the attention you need anywhere, and the 5-step recipe that will instantly capture the imagination of anyone, anywhere. And everybody knows, in order to capture their wallets, you have to capture their attention and their imagination first. And that's what this looks like. So here's the recipe. Your phrase has numbers. It's in the 3rd person. It shows a huge gap. It raises emotion. And it's about an amazing result that you got. And really important, it identifies the high-end clients that you serve. And you can literally do this with anything. This is one of my favorite stories. When I first met Peggy, she was in tears. She had $11 to her name. 10 months later, she had 350,000. That's a whopper. Look at that gap. Um, Another client. Our clients were demoralized. They were depressed because they faced padlocking the doors of their college due to a pending bankruptcy. They spent 90 days raising a measly $20,000 to save their school. We brought them $640,000 in 3 hours. Wow. Talk about a gap. I'm just proving you can do this with absolutely anything. When I first met Ken, he was bedridden with chronic fatigue and too sick to walk. He'd been to 19 doctors. In 3 months, he was walking. Now it's 12 months later, and he's training for his first marathon. Look at that gap. Do you see how you can see that? You can see the health. Do you see what I'm saying? So the secret to getting the perfect phrase is that you have to make it highly, highly specific. And a lot of people fail at this because they're scared to be that specific. You know, what if I don't produce those results all the time? What if I only have 2 high-end clients? Well, what if I only had 1 person that paid me $12,000? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Give a range by all means, but include your highest and your best result. People do not want to hear your average stories. They want the best. And your high-end clients are looking for the best. 20% of your market is hiding from you. 20% of your market will pay your highest end fee or package, and they're not coming out and buying it because you haven't made something that they think is of value. This is research all across the board in this industry particularly, but in a lot of industries. You've got 20% of the people in your market, and they're not buying a high-end package because they don't see the value. So if you can get a high-end package where they can see the value, they'll buy it. It happened to me. I was floored the first time I offered $2,000 packages. I got 11 people in 36 hours, and I didn't think anybody was going to buy it. This was a couple of years ago, and that was high-end for me. But I didn't think anybody was going to buy it. And it was true. 20% of my market was right there saying, where were you? Here we are. So anyway, people don't want to hear your average stories. They want the best. And if you don't tell them your high-end results, you're going to miss your high-end clients who want them, right? So once you find this phrase, you need to use it all the time, on and offline. Because this phrase energetically, physically, and verbally attracts your perfect clients to you. And it's your message. It's your grabber. Number 4, Zen mode. I love Zen mode. Okay, now Zen mode, I love this because it answers the question, what if you could actually do less and land more clients? Because everybody thinks you have to do more. You know, what if the key in a client discussion was doing less, and the less you did, the more you made? Would you be interested in hearing about that? Well, it's called Zen mode. And what exactly is Zen mode? Here's what most of us do. We think we have to work to get clients. But the truth is, this is true. This is really true. And advertisers know it, great salespeople know it. The more mystery you have around you, the more people come towards you. And I want you to remember the last time you went to a really good whodunit, or you read a really good detective story, you went to a good mystery. So didn't not knowing what was going to happen feel much better than knowing? Didn't you feel that as soon as everything was resolved, there was some kind of letdown? The problem is, you're telling your clients the punchline before you tell them the joke. And what happens is it's just like when you start describing a movie that you really like to a friend, you know, and you're telling them, and all of a sudden your friend says, stop, don't tell me, because they want to discover it for themselves. And, you know, when you tell them everything, you blow it, and they don't get to discover it for themselves. Your prospects don't get to discover the feelings and the impact of what you can do for themselves. This is really important. This is an emotional exchange that has to take place before any kind of engagement happens. So if you delivered, for example, if you delivered the punchline in The Sixth Sense, oh yeah, you know what, he's already dead. The whole thing that makes The Sixth Sense wonderful is that he was already dead, right? And that can't happen in a discussion. It has to be experienced. So when you tell your clients about your business, instead of letting them feel it, This is really big. Lisa Sasevich calls it a false positive. When you tell them instead of show them, they suddenly feel, oh, yeah, I get it. I got it. Yep. And they don't. They think they can climb Mount Everest without a Sherpa, and they can't. And you know they can't. And you don't know what exactly just happened because they think they've got it, so they don't need you. So what did you just do? You told them the punchline before you let them feel the joke, before you let them, before they felt the gap, before they felt the emotions. You did not let them move towards you. You did all the work for them. Somebody has to do all the work. It should be them. All the emotional work of feeling and thinking, oh, I want to go to Italy. Oh, I want what you have. Oh, tell me more. Oh my God. They have to move towards you. Let them do the work. And this is where you've already knocked them off their perch. They really want something, okay? And now you allow them to move towards you. Now how? By not doing a thing except dropping tantalizing hints into the conversation. And I'm going to go through this again in this seminar today because it's that important. If they get interested, you remain calm. They get really excited, they ask you for more, you just give them enough to keep them on the hook. They want to know all about it. You don't tell them because trust me, if you tell them all about it, they will be flooded and they will walk away. Oh yeah, that's really interesting. I'll have to think about that. And you'll think, what did I do? And it's neurological. If they're flooded, they can't take anymore and they will walk away to digest it, period. And you just did yourself out of a great prospect or a great client. So you let them do all the feeling work, the desire, the curiosity, the greed, the lust, the anxiety, the anticipation. Let them do it. This is how they cross the gap you've created and move towards you. They can only go one of two ways, back to their power base or forward towards you. And you remain calm. A lot of people can't do this, seriously, because a lot of us get really anxious, right? And we just have to help them out. We talk too much. We just have to tell them everything. We just have to, oh my God, they're interested. And so they're excited, so you get excited. No, you swallow your anxiety. You sit on it. You don't let it show. You restrain yourself from giving the whole story. If you do, you will lose a client. That's why I call it Zen mode. They have to cross that gap by themselves. You can't do it for them. The way they cross it and come towards you emotionally and move towards you and think, yeah, what's your number? Yeah, I need to talk to you more about this, is by you remaining calm and neutral, maybe even slightly disinterested, and throwing out these tantalizing pearls, and we'll talk about pearls in just a minute, of your results. Pearls are little, fascinating, mesmerizing, one-sentence, two-sentence stories, phrases, little sound bites of your results. You just throw them into the conversation, and each one brings them one step further towards you. You offer a service that can completely change a part of their lives, and suddenly they realize how badly they want it because of how they feel. Zen mode arouses a flood of desire in your prospect because you tap into that pool of desire that's already there. When you master Zen mode, magic takes place. Your prospects sell themselves on you. This happened to me. It's happened to my clients. It's amazing. I mean, super great salespeople know this, and great marketers know this. It's seduction. It's ethical seduction. They sell themselves on you. Your job is to remain emotionally neutral and to keep the rest of your service a secret from them. You need to keep this a secret from them because this is what, again, energetically will attract them like a magnet. You're holding something back. What is it? I have to know. Now remember, you can repel clients at this very delicate point by giving too much information, getting too emotional. Oh yeah, you want to hear all about it? No, they really don't. Or matching their energy. They get really excited, so you're going to get really excited. Yeah, let me tell you about how I did it. No. If you get excited, they will calm back down. If they get excited, you remain calm. So you're creating an emotional vacuum because you're not selling, you're not excited, you're not matching their interest, you're not flooding them with information, you're just calm and friendly and receiving their interest and their questions. It's an emotional vacuum, and they fall right into it. That's why you want Zen mode. It's a dazzling technique to allow your prospects to sell themselves on you. Once again, You're neutral, you're friendly, you're not selling, you're not excited, you're not matching their interest, and you're not flooding them with information. And they just fall right into that gap because there's a gap there and you're not filling it. That's what Zen mode does. And it is a dazzling technique, and it works. So let me show you what I mean by pearls. Let's go. One of my clients was fascinating. She is a professional nagger, Rachel Cornell. She is marvelous. She gets people to do things that they otherwise can't do. So her grabber is smart people come to me when they're up against the wall. Now here's the grabber. This is what you say. This is what anybody, you start out with a grabber. Smart people come to me when they're up against the wall. When people work with me, the book gets written, the PhD gets finished, they get into med school, they lose the weight, they find the husband, they go to India in 90 days or less. I'm the only professional nag that you are not married or related to. All right, that's her grabber. That's a great grabber. And she also adds quite often, I move creative, driven, high achievers from stuck to done. She's calling her high-end clients. Now, what are pearls? Pearls are when you go, you do? Really? Into med school? Find a husband? Really? And go to India? How did that happen? So you're there and you're asking all these questions. And now here's the scoop. Here's the secret. You do not have to answer. When someone says, how do you do that? You do not have to actually answer that question yet. You can answer it at some point, but you don't have to answer it yet. You drop a little pearl in. This is what I call pearls, your string of pearls. You need about 9 or 10 pearls because they're mesmerizing. They're seductive and they're mesmerizing. So one of her pearls were, did you know that the brighter someone is, the more likely they are to procrastinate? So instantly, the person thinks, oh my Lord, well, I'm bright. You think, wow. You see what I'm saying? Or torture themselves to death because it has to be perfect. I shrink my clients down. I have them do things faster than they think they can do it. So she drops these little pearls into the conversation instead of saying, oh, well, first of all, I get you on the phone, and then we set up a date, and then I do a back-end call, and then I make sure, nobody cares about that. No one. What you're doing right now is ethical seduction. You are moving someone towards you. You're not giving your brochure or telling them how it happens. That's for later. That's when they sign. So this is why pearls are so important. So we've discovered 4 really powerful keys for you to create intense interest and magnetism and desire over what you do when talking to prospects. And here's the thing, clients don't always show up in, networking rooms. Clients show up on airplanes, in waiting rooms. They even show up in the grocery store. And there are actually 3 specific things you can do to turn all those situations and those opportunities around into powerful client attraction opportunities, where you can literally take someone from a total stranger to a client. And there are 3 amazing keys to do this. And we're going to get to those in just a minute. We're going to talk about how to find fabulous clients in the grocery line. 3 secrets. But first, I want to talk about a struggle I know a lot of you are having. And the reason I know a lot of you are having it is because you've told me, you've emailed me. I see it everywhere I look. And I see it at networking events, live events, speaking gigs, Facebook, social media. In fact, it's so pervasive, I think it's the #1 frustration of every entrepreneur and business owner. And while I don't know this for a fact, I also truly believe it's the one thing that's responsible for turning business dreams into nightmares and causing businesses all over the country and even around the world to just close their doors. And that is the inability to capture attention and the struggle to articulate the outcomes you create in such a magnetic way that not only do clients start to come after you, but they can't stop coming after you. This is what we all want. This is what we're all shooting for. It's what we're all dreaming of. And very few of us have been able to make that happen. The key is that no matter how long you've tried to make this happen, there is a powerful way to do it. And I've literally seen it work for every kind of business owner imaginable. Everybody, from salespeople to energy healers, yoga teachers, fitness instructors, 8-figure CEOs, to mompreneurs. There are people in the waiting room right there. I've seen it work for everybody. And I want you to imagine just for a minute what it would be like to have people, CEOs, mompreneurs, business owners, fitness instructors, anybody, to have at your fingertips the language to turn skeptics into raving fans and then clients within 5 minutes. And this happens. This is doable. What would it be like to turn frozen, polite smiles and polite replies into excited, energized expressions of interest in what you do, and to be able to convert that into revenue and profits? What would it be like to finally know in any situation that you have the tools and the technology and the specific phrases to be able to capture the imagination and the wallet of your ideal prospects? And what would it be like to finally be able to target only those people you want to work with, the people who can afford you, who can appreciate you and return again and again at your fingertips? Well, you have that. It's here right now. Because for the first time, for the final time, I am rolling out the last ever live edition of You're So Brilliant, Why Don't They Buy? And you can find it at you'resobrilliant.com. And yes, this is basically, not exactly, because I've added new stuff, the same class that I have not offered for 2 years. But in the years that I did, it has taken hundreds and hundreds of people, just like you, from tongue-tied into people who are masters of any situation, who've been able to overcome what they're doing to push clients away and turn it around so that your ideal clients see you, they recognize you, and they line up to work with you. It starts Wednesday, November, when does it start? A week from today, and it runs for 6 weeks. And it's literally an A to Z encyclopedia of everything I know, everything I've learned, everything I've seen work wonders in the lives of people around the world. And I'm making it available so we can work wonders for you. So session 1, just to run through it, session 1 is master the mindset and the message that will bring you more prospects, clients, and money. This is just these are jam-packed sessions. I'm just giving you 3 bullet points. Use the words that turn on the buy signal in your prospect's brain. Master the language of the old brain. The hidden buyer in every conversation, how to find it, how to talk to it. Develop your Buddha self that allows prospects to sell themselves on you. Session 2, mesmerize your prospects. $1 million secrets to monetizing everything you offer. Monetize or quantify every service or product you offer. It creates a gap, it creates desire, it creates hunger, it's instant, it's fabulous. Once you experience the amazing power of numbers, you will never look back. Discover why you must never completely satisfy a prospect, and we will practice this because it's hard, even if they beg. Session 3, it's personal time. Become a superstar, because this is, for many people, this is the most valuable part of the class. This is 10 minutes with me, and you're on the hot seat, and we test and tweak and perfect your message, and I personally coach you, and you get live feedback from the class. This is the fastest way to learn how to speak your customer's language. Session 4, the magic wand of marketing, your string of pearls. String of pearls are crucial. You cannot say hello with a great grabber and then, what comes next. You can't. You have great opening, and then you go, oh my God, I lost them. What did I do? That's why you need a string of pearls. That's why these work so well. A string of pearls, by the way, is a great series of autoresponders. It's a great Facebook campaign. It's a great Twitter campaign. It's just a string of pearls you can use anywhere. They're fabulous. So you create 10, not one, you create 10 $1 million messages, tiny ones, for supreme confidence and power and ease to attract clients anytime, anywhere you wish. And this is the core of the You're So Brilliant system. Because we don't create just one message. It's like, no, not an entire conversation. And you weave a very graceful net to catch your clients as they willingly and gracefully follow you. Session 5, I have a treasure chest of secrets that I love, and it will bring you even more clients. I have silver bullets. They're great. They're wonderful. They make your prospects jaw drop. How to create that gap. We're really going to go into it. That turns prospects into clients. What's your gap? How do you create it? What do you do? What's going to make them fall in love with you and what you do? Frame your service around a product or a dream so they begin to fantasize about it immediately. And session 6, power packaging. And what's the biggest reason? One of the biggest reasons your clients aren't coming out of the woodwork? They don't get your offer. You've heard this from the gurus. You're hearing it from me. They don't get your offer. It sounds just like everybody else's. That's the problem. Match the power of the You're So Brilliant system to the power of your offer and let the clients roll in. So all the sessions are recorded because we're all busy this time of year, and I don't want any schedule or challenge you're having with your schedule to prevent you from making 2015 your best year ever. This changes every single thing about the way you do business. People have come to me and said, I've changed my entire marketing. I've heard that many times, and it makes me happy. I love it because it's a client attraction on steroids system. So you might be wondering, how does this look in the real world? What kind of impact does this have? And Joseph Okino, he's a financial consultant. Hey, Ann, we just did 8 million at a Fortune 200 in 6 months. Thomas Witt, you all know Thomas. Thomas made 200,000 euros in 24 hours using one small technique in this system. Eve, 18,000 in 6 weeks. Stephen Hurston increased online sales by 26%. Now, he had an $8 million company, so that's about $2 million. Let me see if we have anybody else. Renee Walton increased my list by 60%. So there are huge results. There are good results. There are results that fit the size of your business. And the results that have come out of this class are just beyond belief. They are beyond belief. I can't describe it. So these are just a few. And so that's not all, because when you dig into this last live ever You're So Brilliant version of the class, you're also going to receive some extremely valuable bonuses that I've handpicked to walk you some of the really most difficult challenges you have in being able to message what you do so your ideal clients get it instantly and hear you and see you and respond. And the bonuses are a private Facebook group for instant feedback. And this is one of the biggest problems I've seen. It's because people get a message and they think they're crazy. And the last thing I want you to do is go out and talk about this, because people don't actually know how this works. So we created a private Facebook group so you can get help from me and everybody else who's in the class and get your feet wet, get everything happening, get your messages down, so that by the time the class ends, you're ready to go out and nail this. Now, some people start to make money before the class is over. They start to get more clients before the class is over. That has happened a lot. But the Facebook group is it's an incubator. It's where you test things out, and it's really, really useful. And it's very easy because we all know Facebook is. I think it's easier than a forum. 21 reasons people don't listen to you. You should know this because it's really interesting. And this is when you are not engaging. 7 listening sins you don't want to commit because they won't feel you care. And create a tribe of raving fans with juicy content. And the Beverly Bergman can get a 77% opt-in rate. This is a heck of a bonus. It's an incredible bonus. And there's more. A list of unhearable words. Now, this is, you might think, you've heard of unhearable words before. You've heard me talk about them. We all use them. We're still using them. Joe, who made $8 million, said, you should get Ann's list of unhearable words. That's worth the price of the course. Because every time you use one, the unconscious old brain turns off. It's that fast. It's unbelievable. Trigger words. They're literally words that hook into certain parts of the brain and create a powerful attraction. And I'll give you a whole collection of them. I want you to be able to at least know the words that will create the response you want. And because I've seen students struggle to get this right. And what I find that really drives the point home is when you see the contrast of the language that doesn't work and then the language that does. And unhearable words are one of the ideas, again, that allowed Joe to get to 8 million in 6 months. Because what else do we have? Oh yeah, I'm going to do templates. 40 before and afters. I want you to see the before and afters so you can maybe steal them if you want. I'm going to do templates to make it really easy. I want you to fill them in and make it really easy for you to get those messages so you don't have to think. Every call is coaching. I'm not going to be teaching on the calls. They're all coaching. It's me coaching you because I don't want to leave your success to chance. So I'm going to use every single tool at my disposal so you get it and you can use it for yourself. Not only for the 6 weeks in the class, but you will take this ability out into the world and use it in your business for as long as you're in business. Because here's the key that takes this through the roof. Because the secrets that you'll discover in the final live version of You're So Brilliant, you'll be able to use, as I said, in all of your marketing, everywhere. Because we live in the 21st century. We don't just find clients at networking events. We find them on Facebook. We find them in emails. We find them through videos. And you'll discover in the final live version of You're So Brilliant that you can apply this to your emails to get higher conversion rates and higher open rates. You can apply it to get higher opt-in rates, to send your opt-in rates through the roof. We had an 86%. That was our highest one, 86% increase in opt-ins. You can apply it to your sales pages, your videos, your blog posts. Your content spreads like wildfire. People are attracted. They're excited by it. They share it. And what would it be like to have your ideal clients do your marketing for you? Because the key that you'll learn in this class is to tap into and trigger something that never changes. Techniques come and go. Tools come and go. What's hot comes and goes. What gets people to buy is a 500,000-year-old brain that hasn't changed and never will change, ever. So this isn't something you have to take again next year because it will never alter. It will never change. So not only does it apply across the board, whatever you've discovered will work 5 days from now, 5 years from now, 25 years from now. And here's the total package. There are very few things that you can invest in that you can say that about. 5 years, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 25 years. That old brain will never, ever change. These are fundamental neurological rules. So all this, plus the Facebook group, the listening sins, the templates, the trigger words, the personal coaching that you get from me, is worth $2,500. And You're So Brilliant, Why Don't They Buy, final live version is $495, or 2 payments of $249. And there's a payment plan. So if you're on a budget, it's 2 payments, $249. And for the first 5 people who sign up, I'd like to offer you a torchlight call. And that's 30 minutes with me, and bring me the 3 biggest issues you need to solve in your business. These are for the first 5 class members only. If you want to sign up, hop over to youresobrilliant.com, youresobrilliant.com, and sign up. If you're one of those first 5, you get the torchlight call. And that's fun. That's a lot of fun. We will get a lot done. And bring me the 3 biggest things that you need to change. So I didn't feel as if we had enough bonuses. So if you sign up by midnight, Saturday, November 8th, I'm going to give you, directly from Closing the 21st Century Client, this is amazing, 2 recordings that I have never given anybody outside this $2,000 class. And that's the key purchase motive recording and the objections and deal stoppers. And what does that mean? That means that this has never been available to anybody outside of this mastermind. And for this time, I'm going to make it available to you. And these are 2 of the most powerful classes of this sales course. And what this is the key purchase motive. And I'm working on these calls with Thomas Witt. If you cannot find the key purchase motive, when these are on your discovery calls, you're trying to get somebody to sign. This is closing the sale. The whole rest of of You're So Brilliant, is about opening. How do you get someone to come towards you? This is how do you close. These 2 recordings are how do you close. If you cannot find the key purchase, you don't know why they're buying, you can't close them. You've got to find out why they're buying, and it's never what you think it is. Never. Because we bring all our assumptions to the call, and that's a real big trap. So that's what that first recording is about. And the second one is about objections and deal stoppers. Objections are not, as they say, objections are not really objections, they're just nerves. There's only one deal stopper. It's like people throw snowballs at you, and you think, and you're so busy trying to handle all these objections that the sale gets lost, totally lost. And people get afraid, so they just throw out objections. They're just snowballs. Only one snowball has a stone in it, okay? And you have to find that one. That's the deal stopper. When you find the deal stopper, you can close the client. And that sounds like a very salesy thing to say, but when you find the deal stopper, the door is open for them to finally understand and move into to work with you. You have to find out what's really behind what's stopping them. And that's when they feel partnered with you, and you partner with them, and it's a very, very, very friendly, very, very powerful conversation. It's really great. So this is what I'm going to do for everybody who signs up by midnight Saturday, these 2 recordings, and this will take everything you've learned and turbocharge it. It will not only create interest, it will give you the keys to sign the clients. And this was the first time I offered this. It was a $2,000 investment, but I'm giving you these as a free bonus when you sign up for the last So Ever You're So Brilliant. So not only do you get these powerful secrets to turn skeptics into clients, not only do you discover how to stop blackballing your clients and start attracting them, not only do you get 6 powerful sessions so that all this becomes second nature, not only do you get all the powerful bonuses and the key purchase motive and the objections and deal stoppers, it's all recorded. So you can listen to it whenever you want. Not now, but weeks and months and years into the future. And everyone who signs up by Saturday gets the 2 powerful bonuses that I've never made available to anyone outside my mastermind. And I may never again, I don't know. So it's an unprecedented package. It's to put the 2 biggest obstacles to your success behind you forever. How to attract them, how to find them, and attract them, and how to sign them. Because the ability to talk about what you do and have people get it and want it, and the ability to turn that interest into a signed client is something, when you have it, you will never lose it. You will never lose it, and it will change your business. And this package will never be available again at this price, and this is the final time I'm doing it live. So you get me live on the calls coaching you every time. And you're able to apply every one of these principles to all of our calls and to your opt-ins, to your Facebook, to your sales pages. Everything you do comes out of You're So Brilliant. It's the same attraction-based marketing. Everything you do will be transformed forever in this final live version of You're So Brilliant. So once again, it's You're So Brilliant. It's a one-time investment of $495 or 2 payments of $249. And I urge you to pop over and sign up now if you want to. If you want one of those torchlight calls, you better hurry, at you'resobrilliant.com. youresobrilliant, you'resobrilliant.com. I would love to have you in this final course. I really would. I can't wait for your business to be the next You're So Brilliant success story, because we have a whole hall of fame. And as I said, I have a hall of fame, and I want you to be in it. Now, I promised that before we start talking, I promised I was going to give you 3 absolutely crucial keys to find and mesmerize your ideal clients that will happen at will wherever you are, wherever you happen to be. Because clients, don't just hang out at networking events. They're at the supermarket, they're in doctor's office, they're on airplanes. And if you don't know the words that get people interested in you as opposed to bored by you, you will walk away without clients in all these places. And I literally know a coach who always flies first class. I said, how do you do that? And she said, well, this is my golf. This is how I get clients. This is how I network. Talk about going after high-end clients. She gets them. She's built an enormous business. She networks in first class. Seriously, she said, it's my golf. So there you are. I mean, you don't have to fly first class, but they're all around you. That you need the tools to know how to pull them towards you. And here are 3 of the most powerful. How to find fabulous clients in the grocery line. Secret number 1, 3 secrets. Secret number 1, nail your niche. Your niche needs to be so specific that you can tell it to a stranger and they will immediately see and feel what you're talking about. It's like you're talking to a friend and you forget the name of the actress, right? And you say, oh yeah, she was that actress. Yeah, she was in the football movie. She won an Academy Award and she had the husband who cheated on her. And your friend goes, oh yeah, Sandra Bullock. Or else you say, oh yeah, that woman, you know, she was supposed to be married to Ben Affleck, but she had a singing career. Now she's a judge on American Idol. Oh yeah, J-Lo. So you want to describe your niche in such a way that people can't help but instantly get, oh yeah, in their heads. You find fabulous clients in the grocery line because you have one specific, perfect phrase that nails the beating heart of need and desire in your client. And the more you hit it on the head, the more you get, oh my God, oh, I need that. Or the faster they begin thinking, gee, my cousin needs to talk to you. So spell out who you work with. Nail your high-end clients in your intro. I don't know why people don't do this. They want high-end clients, but they don't tell anybody that they work with them. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people are scared to do it. So here's the difference. Not I help professional women find a lasting relationship, but I work with spiritually gifted C-suite professional women from 40 to 55 who don't have time to find their Prince Charming. Now, what's the difference? It's huge. It's huge. Can you see? I bet every single person on this call can see a spiritually gifted C-suite professional woman from 40 to 55 who has no time to find her Prince Charming. The more general you are, the less people can picture themselves as your client. And the less they can immediately think of anybody who needs you. If you help everyone, your high-end clients won't look at you. They can afford a personal shopper at Neiman Marcus. Why would they shop at Macy's? So do you see how so many people don't actually tell the world that they target high-end clients? They don't mention high-end pain or high-end results. They don't shoot high. They don't describe their high-end clients, spiritually gifted C-suite professional women, in detail. So no wonder you can't find them because they're ignoring you. So, okay, what if you don't have a high-end client? Because some people might say, well, I don't have a high-end client, but I want them, right? Here's a story I've told before, and it worked. It worked incredibly. And it's one of my favorite stories. A woman called me from Canada and said she was about to be fired. She was a futures trader. She sold $5,000 wine futures to wealthy investors. She was selling nothing. She was on probation. She was about to be fired. She was terrified. She had health bills. And she said, what am I going to do? These guys are wealthy. I think they can afford $100,000, but I can't get a bite on anything. So she went to her, she got her whole list together. She called them up and she said, hi, I'm Jody. I'm the firm's Gold Circle investment advisor. And gosh, you know, I'm really apologize. I'm sorry. You certainly should be on my list. You qualify to be in the Gold Circle, but I don't see you here. And I've called all my Gold Circle members last week, and I've only got 4 positions left at 100,000. Are you in? And 2 weeks later, she called me and she said, I said, how'd you do? She said, I sold 3 positions at 100,000. And I said, what did it? And she said, Gold Circle. They ate it up. Everyone wanted to be in the Gold Circle. So do you see how she was telling her high-end clients who they were? It worked like a charm. This is what you do if you don't have high-end clients. You create something. And here that leads directly into secret number 2. Mention your mastermind. You can add a phrase like, well, of course, she was in my diamond program, or your mastermind, or your silver program, or your silver circle. I don't care what it is. Just make sure that you have a diamond program, that you serve elite clients. And if you don't have a platinum program or circle or elite circle, create one as soon as you get off this phone. Name all your client services so everybody feels special. You have, bronze, silver, and gold, ruby, diamond, and emerald. It doesn't matter. But from now on, just add $25 to your elite program fees, and voila, it's elite. You now serve high-end clients. And you make sure everybody knows it. So exactly how do you do this? If you're talking to someone in the grocery store, you just drop in a phrase. Oh, yeah, there was a woman who was in my diamond program. But that's just like someone who was in my diamond circle. Oh, yes, he was in my platinum program for a whole year. Just drop it in. It shows you are elite, you're high-end, you offer these things, and it shows who you work with. It positions you. People don't do this. I'm raising the flag here. I want you to do it because it works. And we had a wonderful story about this. I worked with a client who'd been struggling for years, giving an amazing service at a very low price. And she was super smart and just beyond frustrated. And together we designed 2 new higher end offers that brought in a total of 10 new clients and 9 renewals over the course of a couple of months. And the best part, these clients hired her at nearly double her previous rates, and they were thrilled with the value they got. And she was thrilled with the financial breakthrough, but also because she felt in total alignment finally with her mission. So, if you don't have a mastermind, make one up. Get one now. And here's the heart of how to keep people glued to you. And I've never talked about this before. And thank you for staying on the line, because this is so important. I really want you to get it. The third way to find clients in the grocery line and to have people, what if there was a way to not only have people, prospects chasing after you, but total strangers, chasing after you in a good way. Whoops. Let's go back. There we go. So the third secret is to play hide and seek. And suddenly, it's how to have people who don't even know you become unable to stop talking about you. You deliver your perfect grabber, your specific phrase, and then you shut up. And you allow the other person to say, wow, or, oh, that's fascinating. How do you do that? And just like Zen mode, you drop another pearl or another little fascinating soundbite, and then shut up. You offer, and then you keep silent. And you offer, and then you keep silent. And here's the secret. This is neurological. People can't leave someone who's offering something fabulous 1 minute and then not talking about it the next. You're playing hide and seek, because this is the neurological basis of attraction. We can leave someone who's wonderful and warm and gives us all the information we want, and we can leave somebody who's a jerk and brags and insults us. But we cannot leave someone who plays hide and seek. And if there's any psychologists or therapists on the line, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now you see my incredible offer. Now I'm not going to give you any more details. Now you see my offer. Now you don't. This is ethical seduction. Remember, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to leave someone who plays hide and seek with a tantalizing offer. They can't let you go in their minds. This is how you really get clients in the grocery line or online or anywhere else. This is the secret behind all great launches online. It's the secret that all great salespeople have in common. How do you do it? How do you do it? You create a tiny, tantalizing script that leaves them hanging, and then you drop pearls into the conversation, just enough to keep them hooked. So let me show you how that happens. I worked with a client, it's a really terrific nutritionist and exercise expert, and she said her grabber was, my clients want lean and sexy in 90 days. I work with professional women between 40 and 55 who are tired of seeing that muffin top in the mirror. They lose from 20 to 40 pounds and slip into those skinny jeans in 3 months or less. That was her grabber, and it was great. She got a lot of interest in that. So the thing is, people say, really, how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, do you do exercise? Well, what do you do? And she would not answer all of the questions. She didn't give anybody a lecture. She would start dropping these phrases. Do you want to lose belly fat? Eat more food more often. Did you know your sleeping habits are keeping you fat? Did you know alkaline water stops overeating? You know, everyone has at least 2 emotional vampires who keep them fat. If you want to turn on your fat-burning chemicals, stop the brown rice and blueberries. This drove people nuts, because everybody wants to know this. Absolutely everybody. So do you see how you create the desire? Do you see how you play hide and seek? You don't answer all the questions of, well, I have a program and I work with people, and typically they get all of my instructions and then they get a food plan. But who cares? Who cares? They're asking you stuff. This is what they want. I'm using these because they're absolutely tantalizing. Nobody knows that alkaline water stops overeating. Nobody knows about emotional vampires. Nobody knows to stop the brown rice and the blueberries. This is fascinating to people who want to lose weight and who doesn't in America. So that is, hide and seek is the secret heart of how to attract anybody and keep them attracted. And it is used online, offline, and everywhere by people who have very, very successful businesses. So what do we do here today? We found 3 ways you repel your ideal clients energetically, verbally, and physically, and how to stop it now. 5 keys to spellbind your perfect prospect in 6 seconds or less, online or off. The #1 phrase that will get you all the attention you need. Zen mode, the secret to arousing irresistible desire. How to find fabulous clients in the grocery line. And these have the results that we talked about. Jim, just the results from this class are just beyond belief. Tripled my business in 18 months. The people who've used this system. Patrice increased sign-up rate by 75% the first time she gave a speech. And if you're finally ready to go through the micro point of starting attracting clients instead of repelling them, instead of blackballing them, to know these secrets consciously and specifically get clients so excited to work with you that they think they're getting the better part of the deal. If you're ready to know specifically how to spellbind your prospects so that they're so intoxicated with the thought of working with you that you either walk away with a client or a phone call, and you're finally ready to do less and make more and discover the secrets to having clients pursue you, and they are there. There is You're So Brilliant, Why Don't They Buy? And here it is. Master the message, $1 Million Secrets, the magic wand, the treasure chest, the power packaging, and the bonuses. And it's the last time we're doing this live. And over the last 10 years, people have literally made millions of dollars from these ideas. And their lives have turned around. People who were ready to close the doors on their business, revive their business, people whose businesses were doing well, shot through the roof. And I can guarantee you 95% of you aren't doing this now because without it, you wouldn't be on this call. Because everything that works goes against what you've been told what works. Everything that works in this system goes against what you've been told and goes against what you believe will work. And the problem is, as I said, if what you were told works and you were doing it and it actually worked, you wouldn't be on this call, right? You'd be out making money. So it's just like if you were learning to ski and somebody told you, hey, point your skis downhill. And you said, you want me to do what? Or you're skydiving, right? You're 8,000 feet up and they go, okay, just jump out of the plane. And you go, what? Without guidance, you will never do the things that will get you where you want to go and help you to do what you really want to do. So you're really at a crossroads now, because not only will you get the secrets that have helped people make thousands to millions of dollars and turn businesses around, but I will be there showing you how to do it. It is truly a last chance opportunity to stop doing things that you hope will work and start doing things that actually do. You know, to stop blackballing your prospects and start spellbinding them, to start turning them off and start turning them on, to move them from indifference to interest, and to get them to see that you're the one they've been looking for to take them where they want to go. And I'd like to end with a fabulous story, a wonderful story. I was working with someone who came to me and she was really struggling. She was really good and she had struggled and overworked really hard, exhaustingly hard for a long, long time. And she was stuck at mid-5 figures. And she did what I will be teaching in this course. And she worked her tail off and she did a launch. And at the end of this launch, she signed 3 high-end clients in 1 week. And it was a record breaker. She'd never done it. And she broke through. And that was November. And by spring, she had a full high-paying client load. And she never returned to where she was. It launched her. She broke all records. So it's a fabulous story. It happened to her. It can happen to you if you are there, or it can happen to you no matter where you are. If you want to move, if you want to go. And join me. You're so brilliant. Why don't they buy? I have made my living on words. And I wish I could give you the words to convey the difference that this can make in your life. It's like it's made in my life, in so many of my clients, that it's made for the client I just talked about, because 6 weeks from now, that can be you. And I wouldn't tell you this if I hadn't seen this over and over and over with people whose businesses were flying in the multi-million-dollar atmosphere to people whose businesses were literally on life support. And I would love to see this happen to you and for you, so that you can go into 2015 and every year beyond with all the tools you need to break through to the business you've really dreamed of. So it's you'resobrilliant.com, the final time live. First 5 people get the torchlight call, and I'll see you there. And I can't wait to see the amazing things we'll do together with your business. Goodbye.